tell me about like the 3 best hacks in org mode that you really like.
The 3 best hacks. That's a good question. What I really like a lot is the checklist items and the day tree. You see my daily plan is based on that.
Let's share your screen so that
Yeah,
it's easier to understand.
let me see the my God, screen sharing again. We share the other desktop, and so here we are in my daily plan, and you see I have daily plans for every day of the year, so I can always see on which days were I successful achieving everything, on which days were I not successful. I can even look what did I do on May 1st, whatever. So this is for me it's a very good tool to stay on track in my daily schedule.
So do you create each item manually, or do you have a script to
No,
create?
I have this key code. So if let me see, let's try to add something to my schedule today, just for fun. So if I do that, it's okay. I should even put the key on there, but let's see. X52. We have a second window open. So now I do my daily agenda. No, sorry, CA agenda for today. So you see, I have a lot of things from my calendar. We have this Zoom conference with you, and there are things that are overdue and so on. And of course, I didn't copy everything from here to my daily plan, because when I get up in the morning, I already know what's on the schedule for today. And today I had a sort of learning session in the afternoon, so I knew my afternoon was practically fully planned. And in the morning we had to prepare lunch and so on, so there was no use in putting every item on my plan just to find out that you don't have enough time. So in the morning I see this horrible long list, and I say, let me pick the things I want to do today. And if I want to pick it, let's say, for example, there is that next item, prepare work on some to-do items in an emergency document that I'm preparing. So if I want to copy this to my daily plan, the thing is quite easy. I press F5, and you see copy it, and then it copies a complete link to my clipboard, and I just have to press Alt-Shift return to get a new checklist item, and then I press Control-Y to pass the link that I just created. Oh, that
right. So this is actually links to
my backlog files, to my real org files. Where the magic happens. So I have this daily plan that reminds me, okay, you have to do something.
So you take every day basically. So you have a list of things you need to do in one file.
I have a bunch of files of the things I have to do. You know, I'm a private person. I'm also the president of a shooting club.
Mm-hmm.
So I have 2 files, one for my private life, one for my shooting club life. If I would have a job, I would have a third file that says, okay, this is my work life project. So we have those files like, let me see, there is my private org file that we could, you see, we have everything from goals to finances to find a new job. Then I have this reminder if I have subscriptions that extend every year automatically. I have a set of tasks here that are repeating. They say, okay, early enough, you have to consider, do I want to go on with the subscription or do I want to cancel it? So in my daily
Right.
agenda, it will show up early enough that I have time to think, do I want to continue subscription? Yes. Then I just advance the date here 1 year. If I say I cancel it, then I will have a to-do item, cancel the subscription. Then I have my hobbies, a lot of tasks like playing guitar, playing bass, and so on. This is about health. And then we have those frequent tasks that you have to do in the house, like clean your dishwasher with a machine cleaner every 3 months and so on. Then I have a section about repair and maintenance of things in the house. One thing for the gardening, then this is uncluttering. Then it's practically everything else. Then we have a rented house in another suburb here, and we have to renew it. So there are tasks. Then there are tasks that I want to do with my son, some ideas about blogs, some ideas about new courses on Udemy. Then I have those GTD implementation at the end and the books that I want to read. So if you see here, I have currently I'm reading Never Split the Difference from Chris Voss. And if this is done, it will be probably tonight that I'm finished. Tomorrow I can switch this to next, and then I will read Hiding in Plain Sight. And at the bottom of the file, I have this weekly review checklist. Also a checklist where I say every week I do my weekly reviews on Sundays for the private stuff. And I have those things that say, okay, remove all new text from the tasks in the backlog, from this file, because every time I capture a task, it will get a, how to say, it will get the new tag. Let me see. No, I was doing the weekly review on Sunday, and we scheduled the task before, so no, that was not okay. Where is my?
So can you repeat the shortcut that you do for copying the items?
I have made a small Emacs Lisp function.
Right. Okay.
And that's connected to F5. So whenever I press F5, even in a org file like that, or even in an agenda file, in an agenda buffer, then we will place our cursor on the headline, copy the item of the headline. In that case, it would be weekly review private. So if I press F5 here, and then I can pass it to the other buffer, and I have a link to this thing.
So can you explain what it does if you do it manually using just org mode commands? So you take you copy an item.
To do just org mode commands, that's a pain in the ass.
Right. Okay.
I was starting in that way because when I was starting with this daily plan, I can go back a few years. The daily plan had just do this and do that and without links. And then I said, okay, I could link. And if I want to do it manually, the thing would be, okay, let me go to my properties folder. Let me copy this to the clipboard. And then let's craft the item by myself. That means I have to do the checklist item. Okay. Checklist and then CL. I want, no, okay, Control C, L. I want the link to an ID. The ID I already copied to my paste buffer, so this is the link. And then weekly review private. Wow. So
right.
The result is the same, but you see, I had to type a lot.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm a lazy person, really. A professor of mine said every man that has his senses together is lazy. So I said, okay, I want to automate this because I'm doing my daily plan really every day since years. It's just that the file is okay. For every year I have a archived file. This is the current one, but I guess if I go back, I will have daily plans from 2014.
So when you tick the item off the list, does it automatically? Do you have a script that also automatically marks it as done in the
No,
main file?
no, that's not the case. You have to distinguish. Let me just clean that. Let me see. The thing is, my approach is, okay, I do my daily plan in the morning, because when I'm getting up, I really know what is my current health condition, how fit am I. Maybe you have a hangover from last night because you went to the pub with friends or whatever, and say, okay, today just easy things, please, no special tasks that require deep work and so on. And I do my plan and I say, okay, what is really achievable today? What can I do? And then I have a set of, let's say, 5 to 15 and maybe even 20 items that I say, okay, these are the things I want to work on today. It's not that I say I have to complete them. Of course, when I do the weekly review, I will do the weekly review and then it's complete, and I will mark it here as done, and I will mark it here as done. But on the other hand, if I have a thing like read the book of Chris Voss, the book has, in my ebook reader, it says it has here 700 something pages. Of course, I won't read it on one day. So for me, it's this one is just, I want to read that book. And if I have read, let's say, a chapter in the book, I say, okay, I cross this off. So it's off my today's to-do list, but it's still there in the backlog that tomorrow it will also show you have to read the book. You are not yet finished. And if I'm finished, I say, okay, then let me go here. One click, I'm on the book and I can say, okay, now I'm finished, Control C, T, done. And then I can write, the book was nice, I liked it, and so on.
Right.
This is the thing. My approach is really, Martin, I want to have the list that I always see as short as possible. Because if I put myself here, CAAT, this is my daily agenda, you see there is a lot of things. And there are even things now we have, these are from my shooting club. We have the 60-year anniversary this year. And we have scheduled that we want to do a big party. But now, because of COVID-19, we are practically not allowed to have a big party. So I can cancel this task anyway. Or can say I have to postpone this to 2021 or 2022, because this year I can't do it.
Well, you guys could do it on Zoom.
Yeah,
Everybody can grab a beer and then you just hang out.
There are around 60, 70, 80 years old. They don't know Zoom.
Ah, okay.
This is really a different world from ours. So
Okay.
the thing is, I have a long list here, and I say, okay, let me see what do I want to do today, and I work Pomodoro technique. That you say, okay, let me put 25 minutes or whatever. This learning session today was 2 hours, and I had to go with the streetcar, so I was practically busy the whole afternoon. But I say, okay, I have done that. So if you look here, it's now marked as done.
Right. So let me just see if I understand the logic correctly here. So you have one file where you have several files, of course, which you connect
I have several
to the
files
agenda.
with the items. The items, yeah. Okay, let's go back here. Let me quit this. The items are structured.
Wait. Can we just have a look at that review, because that was something also that was very.
The review is a checklist.
Yeah. So can you just show the items, because it's so interesting to see how you do the weekly review.
The checklist is very easy. The first task I do is remove all new tags from the task in the backlog, because if I capture a task like your interview, you see, we have that, we have that Zoom conference with Martin, and it has a new tag. So this means this one was captured since the last weekly review. Otherwise, the new tag wouldn't be there, because when I start a new weekly review, I say, okay, let me see all, kill all the new text so that whatever comes to my mind now or ends up in my system will have a new tag. This one is
Nice.
easily done because I can control CA, and then you see I have a custom agenda view weekly review helper. That means I press W and no, control CA, W, and then I say, okay, let me show all new tasks. So you see I have a bunch of new tasks, and now I could press asterisk, bulk, agenda, remove tag, new, and it's gone. So this is practically done in a few keystrokes. This check
That's really cool.
So this is really easy. And then I say, okay, this is really a checklist like from David Allen's book. I said, okay, the next thing I want to do is I want to get clean. I want inbox 0 on all my inboxes. So I have to see my snail mail. If I don't see it in my room, there's a paper inbox with all the snail mail that comes during the week. I open them, I have a quick look if it's something really urgent. If not, it ends up there. And then on the day of the weekly review, I pick all the mails. I say, okay, let me see, what is this? Is it spam? Is it somebody that wants to sell something and I don't want to buy it? Let me throw it. If it's something I need to have action on, then I create an action item in my capture file and will process it later. The same, my email inbox. Then my journal that I say I was writing in my journal. I mean, I'm also using a bullet journal, by the way, just to get a bit of digital. So at the end of the day, I shut down the computer and I write what's on my mind. That I maybe have some ideas, and then I can say, okay, let me get all the new ideas and things, even voicemail others. My wife could say, we could do whatever. And if I have a meeting with somebody like you now, I could say I have some notes from the meeting and that there is something actionable or whatever other thing. And when I'm done with this, I say, okay, now lean back, start a timer, control CX, now control U5, CX, semicolon, and you have that 5-minute timer down here. And I say I take 5 minutes to do a brainstorming with myself, do a mind sweep. Is there anything else that comes to my mind that I could do, should do, whatever? If so, capture. F6, and then I can capture. I have restructured my capturing system recently when I was writing the book, because before I had capturing for shooting club, capturing for work, capturing for private. And I said, okay, one capture file is enough. And then I said, okay, I want to capture a goal or next entry, a to-do entry, even some waiting entry that I say I ordered a book or whatever, and now I'm waiting for it, a someday entry, even the project entry. Then I have those special things like somebody recommends a book to me. Then I put it on my to book reading list down here. Let me see where, now come on.
And capturing basically, so you can capture from anywhere.
You can capture from anywhere, and usually it ends up now in a file. Let me quit this.
And now you have just one file where it all ends
I have
up.
one file, capture.org, that has all the headlines from my other files. Now it's empty. But if I capture something, let's say we do a next item, test item, oops, test item. You see my template is I want the headline. When the headline is done, the cursor is placed on desired outcome. This is going fine, whatever. And I have the first logbook entry that says this item was added today on October 20 at 8 o'clock p.m. And then control CC. Now I'm here. Test item captured. And when I do my weekly review, I go in this file and say, okay, this is my item, and now I have to refile it to one of my backlog files. Is it for work? Is it private? Is it for my shooting club?
Okay.
And then I refile it, and then it's in my system, and it will show up in the agendas and so on.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let me.
So how do you handle capturing, let's say if you're away from your computer?
When I'm away from my computer, I have that magic device that's called pen and paper.
Okay.
So I was trying the mobile org app, but
Yeah.
that doesn't resonate with me.
Yeah, it was really difficult to use. I tried that as well.
It's really difficult to use. There's still that Oxley app where I think I could have a look at it sometime, but at the moment it's really fine to say, okay, I take my pocket notebook with pen and paper and I write down what do I want, what was coming to my mind at the moment. I mean, usually I'm not far away from a computer.
Mm-hmm.
I'm living at home now since the unemployment, and even when I was in my company, I had a computer next to me, and I was always able to say, okay, idea, F6, capture, and it's recorded.
Right.
I mean, I was even thinking if I should use the voice recorder of my mobile phone that I say, hey, there's an idea, clack, clack, come on, let me dictate this idea to my voice recorder and then write it down, whatever. Important is that you say, okay, on my weekly review, this is an inbox as well. Let me open it and see that I record something in the last week that I want to follow.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? So when we go down here, at the end, we have maybe some captures made, or we can refile them to our org files, and then we check the current situation. I have a thing that is called Control-CA weekly review helper waiting tasks. You see, I have a bunch of tasks where I'm waiting for something. There's the participation in the Emacs Conf end of November. I got an invitation and I was writing a paper for them. I said, okay, I could do a talk with you. And they replied to me, yeah, that's great. And we could synchronize with another guy maybe. So I said, everything fine, and tell me more. And now I'm waiting for the reply from the other one, I guess he's from Australia or whatever. So I have this waiting item, and this waiting item, of course, if I go on follow mode, says, okay, on 27th of October, if I don't have an answer from him, then let me ask again, what's up?
Mm-hmm.
I follow up to this. I mean, it's not that I want to say every day, do you have news for me? Do you have news for me? But today I replied, and mail is slow. So next week on Tuesday, if I don't get an answer until then, I will say, hey, come on, I asked you something, can you answer? So this is something I was really when I was at work well known for, because this also applies to the work things. That you say, okay, I sent you something, my dear friend at work, my colleague or my customer. Usually when we were doing customer support, the customer was complaining. You send him a solution and then you hear nothing. And I had always those waiting triggers that said, okay, today I sent the solution to the customer and I want a response within 1 week where the customer tells me, okay, fine with me, thank you, problem solved, or no, there's still a problem, go on. And if the customer didn't respond, we send the mail again, hey, we sent you the solution, are you satisfied now or not? Of course, if then even after that second mail, no response comes, then you say, okay, forget it. He doesn't want to answer. But it was really, I mean, I was here. And of course, if you see the item, there is the logbook. And the logbook says, okay, I was writing the first letter on the 5th of October. I was using a wrong email address, one of my secondary address, okay. And then I was saying, okay, let me wait for an answer. And then I said, okay, there came an answer on, guess it was Friday or whatever, but in my weekly review, when I had to look at my waiting task, I said, okay, now I have an answer. So I switch back to next. That says I have to answer your mail. And today I answered this mail and I said, okay, we switch back from next to waiting because now I did my part of the job. It's your turn. You have to answer.
Mm-hmm.
And during my work, I had logbooks that were really hundreds of lines,
And
especially when you have crisis situations where customers complain that you don't help them and so on or whatever. And my logbooks were really accurate because I said, okay, look, on this day you reported the problem. And on this day we sent you a solution. And then we heard nothing for 4 weeks. And now you are back and complaining that we didn't help you. Can you
right.
explain that to me? So this is really, this is what I call cover your ass strategy at work. Because sometimes people want to play bad with you and say, hey, you didn't do your work. And so on. I say, okay, come on. I can show you exactly what I did on what day, what was the response. And I was there, I was waiting for an answer, no answer came. So sooner or later you cancel those things. If nobody answers, I mean, I don't have to have a lot of those that end tasks in my file, then I archive them. But the logs are still there and saying, okay, we waited for an answer for 4 weeks. Nothing happened. What shall we do? And of course, also when you uh, do customer support, you write down in this logbook that you found a solution and what the solution is. Because when in 2 years the problem comes back somehow,
Mm.
you have it in mind, hey, that looks familiar. Let me see, let me search. And I was really well known in my company that I was the one that could dig out 5-year-old problems and say, what did we do in 5 years ago and how did we solve it and why can't we solve it this time and that way? So this
And
is,
so as you're working during the day, you're constantly updating.
I'm constantly updating. So when I do something, I mean, this morning I have a rain collector in the garden, and this morning it was 0 degrees. I said, okay, I have to empty it because if it's going below 0 and is freezing, it will be destroyed from the expanding ice. So
Mhm.
I had this item, empty it. It was not scheduled for the day. It was just, okay, it's cold now. I have to do that.
Right.
So I went out, emptied it, and then I said, okay, done. I will find it in my daily plan when I once want to know when did you empty the rain collector, but it's just there. And so I mean, I have those. The thing is, my daily plan is structured in 3 parts. There are the 3 most important tasks for this day. That they say, what is really the most important thing? Do you know that the book from, I guess, Brian Tracy, Eat That Frog?
Mhm.
Where he quotes Mark Twain that says, when you eat a frog in the morning, nothing bad can happen to you on that day anymore because you
Yeah.
already had a bad experience. And for me, this is these are my frogs or my important things that I say. This one, I really want to know, cross it off that I say, today I had the time to work on this task or today I completed this task. Then I have those section where the tasks are in my system, where they show up in my daily agenda. They say, okay, I scheduled that for today, so I should do it. And the third thing is tasks that are not in my org files. For example, empty the rain collector or doing the laundry. You go by the laundry basket and you see it's full. I don't need to track it in org mode when I do the laundry and don't need to schedule it, especially I just notice, oh, today let's do some or 2 washing machines. Then I write it down that I have to do it, but it's not tracked in an org file that says, okay, the track, the task, wash the laundry, entered the tracking system on Tuesday, and laundry was washed on Wednesday, and it was dried on Thursday, and so on. It's completely stupid. It's just for me a reminder. This is also things I have to do that require a bit of time. and I shouldn't forget them. So usually when I have that laundry task, I put it in, I put the laundry in the machine, start it, and it's still there. And sooner or later I see I do the laundry. Oh, let me see if the machine is finished. If the machine is finished, I put it in the dryer and I say, yeah, laundry done. Plug.
Right.
This is really, it makes your life very structured and very easy because you don't forget about things. So if we go back to the weekly review, you see we have this waiting things where I say, okay, if something got delivered, if I got my answer, now it's my task, my duty again to respond or to act on that. So change the status of the task to next and go on. Or if nothing arrived, then think, should we ask why didn't come anything, or should we say, okay, it's Corona time, let's put it a week ahead and see if something arrives. Then I have the same thing for delegated task. A delegated task for me is that I have something to do, like whatever. Let's say I have no idea at the moment for delegated tasks.
So something you basically give somebody else to do.
I give somebody else to do, and in the case that there is a small thing, I have two ways to delegate tasks. One is delegate. That means I say to my son, okay, come on, you mow the lawn outside every 2 weeks. That would be a delegated task. And he comes then and says, oh, I did it, very nice, and so on. Or I have a task that I say something is broken, you have to repair it. And then I'm really interested that it gets done. So it's delegated. That means it's still on my red side. It's an open task for me. I will monitor it if the task really gets forward. And if not, then I ask the person who I delegated it to, what's going wrong? Why can't you do it? Or do you have problems? Do you need help? Do you need support? Whatever. So this was when I was at work. I was mentoring students, and I gave them a task, and I said, okay, delegate the task, and I want to see every week how is the progress. I also set a deadline maybe that I say, okay, until then you should have finished it and so on. And it reminds me, have a look, what are those delegated tasks? The other type of delegation is forward for me. So someday a customer calls and says, I want an offer for 5,000 PCs or whatever. And they say, okay, thanks, that's nice. But look, I'm in research and development. I'm not a salesman, but I send your mail to a salesman and he will contact you and do the thing. And for me, this is okay. I record, I got this mail, I forwarded it to the salesman. And then I'm no longer interested in the progress of that task, if the customer really buys 5,000 units or not. Mm-hmm. Okay, it would be nice if he does, but it doesn't affect me in my business. I just want to record, okay, the task is now by the sales department. I'm out of it, and that's it. It's like a fire forget missile. You fire, and then you don't care anymore what happens.
This is so good for really freeing up that tension.
Yeah, this is exactly what's the idea behind it. There are things that you can say, okay, I feel responsible that they go forward, but there are things where I say, okay, sorry, not my job. There are other people whose job this is. I can point you to those people, say this one helps you, but it's no longer my business to follow up on these actions.
Mm-hmm. So how did you arrive at this system that you're using right now for?
That was a long development process. I mean, I was in the beginning, I was how to say, having a file where I put the checklist for the weekly review in a capture template. And I said, okay, today is weekly review day. Let me put this capture template, and I have my checklist in the file. And I had a file with practically 52 weekly review checklists per year where I actually see the check marks and says, okay, that's nice, but it's practically a waste of disk space because there's nothing in that helps me later to do something. And then I said, okay, the best thing would be to have this checklist in my org file. But then, you know, when you have the things full and you say it's done, you should undo it all. And then I found the code snippet that says, okay, when you have all your check items full and you finish the task, there is a small property in here that says reset checkboxes true. That means when I'm done with my weekly review and I'm down here and say, last item is checked and now let me finish the task for this week, then since it's a repeat task, the date will advance to next week Sunday and all the checkboxes will be cleared. So I'm back again, ready for the next weekly review. And that's practically the optimal system that I can think of.
That's really good.
I do my things and at the end I say, okay, last item checked off, done. Everything is clear again, and next week we do the same procedure as every week. And
you have your scripts for everything, sort of for all.
I have those. This is I have practically two Emacs Lisp scripts. The one for the capturing, and no, not for the capturing, for the creating the links to my daily plan, or from my daily plan to my org file. And the other one was that small script that says, okay, I put you in, this is in the Emacs file, and the startup file, and I clear those checkboxes. It's not much more currently. I don't have very sophisticated scripts that I say, okay, I want to do this or that or whatever. For me, it's just I want to automate what I can automate and what is useful to automate.
Yeah.
Okay, I still have some ideas for things I would like. Think how I can achieve them. So the system is still growing. It's not that say this is the final system. It's the current system of October 2020, but maybe in November I get a new idea or I hear about a new thing in a podcast that says, yeah, if you whatever sort your tasks by alphabet or so, it's easier. Then I could say, okay, let me try out. So the thing is really easy. You see, I have my how to say my checklist here. Usually when I do weekly review, I have it. Let me see, X1. I have it like that. That I say in one window I have the list and I check it off, and in the other window I have this file and I work in the file. And this is also the reason why I have put the weekly review completely at the end, because if you cycle the visibility of this buffer, you see also in the other buffer, it's suddenly collapsed. And if it was somewhere in the middle of your buffer, you would have need some time to find it again. And so wherever I am, I know, okay, Control End. And here's my weekly review, one tab, and I have the checklist again.
Yeah.
This was just for convenience. And then I go through those things. You see, there is one thing, see your project list, CA, this is the dash sign. You see, I have a project that is stuck. I want to do a project, a course with LibreOffice Cork for budget, and yeah, this task is stuck because the task I was scheduling is in the wrong hierarchy level. So yeah, now it's better. So now when I do it again, Control C, there are no stuck projects anymore. Stefan, komm, troll dich. And then the next thing for my weekly review is my goals. The goals are on top of the file. There's a goal, be healthy. I have a lot of repeating tasks. I'm checking my blood pressure every day. I have a paper where I write it down, and once a week I put it in the computer and make a statistic out of it, and so on. So I have some tasks for this. I want to slim down. There's no task because don't eat more than you should is a bad task, of course. Then I have the task play bass and play guitar. I want to unclutter in the house. There are several places that needs to be uncluttered. I have my tasks. I want to read at least one book a day. So I have a link with this hashtag, with this tag to my to-do reading list that says the goal is read a book, at least one book a month. And then I have this headline in my file, books to read, and then I see that the current book is the one with the next. And then usually I have at least one someday that will be the next book that I read. And I want to do some more photos with my big camera, but this is also just a goal at the moment. There is not much I can photograph.
That's amazing. The whole system is absolutely amazing.
Yeah. So when you are here, then I can say, okay, now let's expand everything in my system and just go through from task to task. They are wonderfully in red color, and you see what is something I could say, this is now finished and I forgot to mark it as done or whatever. It's just browse through it once and say, okay, there is no task now. Next item is scheduled tasks with no date. So when you capture a task, usually it has no schedule date. And I have CA weekly review helper. I have this planning view, but now I have everything scheduled. So imagine you have a task that is not scheduled. It will show up here because that will show only tasks that are to-do items that have no scheduled or deadline date. And so I can say, okay, this task is new. When do I want to do it? Do I want to do it tomorrow? Do I want to do it next week? Do I want to do it next spring, for example? I mean, now winter is coming, so I will have some ideas for the garden, but I know I won't do them before next year, March or whatever, but I can put them in my system and say, okay, to-do item, plant bush in the garden or whatever, and schedule it for 21st of March 2021. So in this date, my system will remind me, hey, there was an idea a while ago that you want to plant something here. Now it's time to do it. Okay.
All right. So let's. We're running out of time now. Yeah. So let's just round up this review list, and I think there is obviously a lot of things that we can dive deeper into. That would require more hours. Like we can go on for hours.
Yeah, of course.
It's amazing.
Yeah, I mean, I made a 6.5 hours Udemy course on it. That is practically bring the people to this level that says, okay, you have to start small with headlines, and you learn about schedules, checklists, and so on. And at the end, you have a system like that. And from my experience, the system is really great because I never forget anything that is important. So, I mean, I still have my Google Calendar for appointments, but for tasks, I have this system and will always know what I want to do and what I need to do. And well, I will also see, thanks to the logging entries that you see when you look here.
Yeah, you see exactly what you have done and when you did it. It's
you see what you have done when you did it, and you also see a lot of, you see here, rescheduled. So this is a task that you say, okay, this is practically a pain in my ass because I should do something, but I'm not really motivated to do it. I have posted forward from week to week to week to week. So finally, I should think, what am I doing with it? Will I really complete it sooner or later? Or shall I just cancel it and say, okay, this is a gift for my nephews in Italy, so we will do it sooner or later, but I depend a bit on my wife that she translates something. And so far, it's always scheduled forward. You see, rescheduled again, but now I will, the current date is today, yeah. I will
Now you
post
have to decide. Now you have to decide what you're going to do with it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm still waiting, because waiting means my wife has to translate things in Italian.
Right.
She doesn't do it, I can't go on. So I will say, okay, today was nothing. So put it like that with Control CS. Let's schedule it 3 days forward.
Yeah.
So I have a new rescheduled entry here. And I will see in 3 weeks what's going on. Do I have a translation? Can I go on working or not? But it's not forgotten. That's the important thing. Even if it's a sort of pain in the ass task, you don't forget about it. Because usually you tend to think about the tasks that you like, and you don't think about the tasks that you don't like.
Mm-hmm. That's absolutely true. I agree. It's yeah, and then they just fall back in the backlog, and you forget about them. Yeah.
People, I mean, I see it with my daughter. She has practically no org mode system, and she does what she likes. And she had to do a sort of small thesis for school. She had 1 year of time to do that, and she started the day before.
Okay.
The deadline, because okay, I know that I have to do, but I have plenty of time and so on. I said, if you would have a system like that, you would have been reminded early that you should start doing something and so on.
Yeah, with org mode, that would never happen.
Yeah.
So Rainer, thank you so much for sharing this knowledge, and I think you are absolutely amazing with the kind of system you have. I think people would have some questions, and they probably want to know more. And I think they should comment if they have any questions, and they should contact you directly. So it's Rainer Konig. You can look up Rainer on YouTube, or find his blog through Google or on LinkedIn. So thank you very much, Rainer.
Okay.
I appreciate coming on
time
today, and talk to you later.
Yeah, sure.
Bye-bye.
So, bye. Und Stefan.